to the treehouse. We are here for interview number 8.
Got the numbers right this time, folks.
I'm not even trying to put any fingers up.
We got it.
No, 8 is great, everybody. And we're here with the president of Campfire Concepts, Jarrod Scheunemann, and the summer intern, Mitchell Franzen. And I am Jessie Scheunemann, the visual designer and question giver.
Moderator.
Moderator. That's the better word. Moderator. So, guys, where have you been? Well, this is weird being in the middle.
Put the rose inside of the two thorns. Yeah. Well, we had recently taken a trip up to Oak Brook, Illinois.
Last week?
Yes.
Ish?
Just
Okay.
this last week,
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday. Jarrod had some focus groups up there, and yeah, we saw some neat things there.
What did you get to do?
We got to partake in dusting of the bees, and
Dusting of the bees.
yes, awesome. Because out at Dean's Nature Sanctuary, there in Oak Brook, they have got an awesome collection of beehives, which they're tasked with maintaining and keeping up to par. And so we went out there and with 2 of their staff, and they showed us how to properly take care of the bees.
This is me suiting up.
So there's a lot of things required with that.
Like an astronaut suit kind of thing?
Yeah,
Is that what you got to wear?
totally. So you wear this
Yep.
white
Oh,
suit.
fun.
It'll be pictured here, and we had a fun time getting in those, learning how to look through those, how to wear the odd hat on your head, and it's essentially just protection from the bees while you are moderately agitating them while taking care of them. So,
And do they make or sell honey? And is this through Oak Brook Park District?
Oak
Yeah.
Brook Park District
Okay, and
does.
did you get any honey from them, or why do they have these bees?
Well, the idea is that they're trying to help pollinators, and by having their own beehives,
Wait, what's the definition of a pollinator, Jarrod? I know you told us last week, but in case you didn't watch last week's.
well, there are a number of pollinators which I didn't realize. Birds, beetles, bats, a lot of bees there, folks.
Jarrod's sister had a run-in with a
Bees,
bat recently.
Butterflies. She did.
She did.
Yeah.
It chased her.
So
Chased
pollinators
her
can
out.
be mean too, but it's but they're
It's all
overall
good.
good.
The
So.
bat wouldn't have bothered her. She was just scared. Big chicken.
I would be a chicken too.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so there's all kinds of different flying creatures,
Okay.
some of them crawling, that go in and help a plant when it flowers to move. I think it's the pollen from
Our kids
the
probably
male-
know this, guys.
the male
They
part of
learned
the
this in
flower,
their
the female
summer.
part of the flower to help it fruit and seed and
Okay.
grow.
So anyway, back to Oak Brook's bee hive. So did you get some honey to bring home?
We did not.
Okay.
They have honey available.
They do.
However, the thing is, in order to help the bees overwinter, they need to determine, is there enough honey for the bees to be able to survive and overwinter.
Okay.
So how much honey they take from their 6 hives depends on how much honey they have at the end of the season.
Because they're
Since
really
we're at the-
just sustaining the hive. They're not trying to make extra honey
right.
for us.
The goal is not to
Okay.
is not production, it's more for the care of pollinators and education
Awesome.
of their citizens.
You guys, Jarrod just told me this evening, today, that this is pollinator week.
That's right.
Pollinator
And
week.
Mitchell is wearing a pollinator outfit
I
in
guess.
honor of it.
We
He has
should've- we should've
honeycomb
given him wings.
on his pants here. I have wings in the closet.
We should have done it.
I actually wear a bee costume for my kids' elementary school.
So
I should have wore the whole costume. What are we thinking?
this is the bee
Yeah.
movie. Yeah. But yeah, National Pollinator Week.
Is this week, which is June 18th through the 24th.
So celebrate your bees.
Oak Brook has a lot
And
of
bats.
programs going on.
Okay.
They
what
do
is
have
Oak-
a kids
yeah.
program now
Yeah.
open now.
Kids program, right?
What do they get to do? Color some bee pictures, other things?
I don't know that in depth of detail.
Come on.
Hopefully not get stung.
But they're educated on the practices of
Pollinating.
pollinating and pollinators and probably the maintenance required with that. And
Yeah.
they certainly have the facility to showcase that.
Probably why they're
So-
important. Probably what kind of plants you can plant in your yard in order to help pollinators out.
Native species. We heard a awesome little ditty, I guess you can call it. Soliloquy ditty on planting native species in your yard to help with the native animals, such as these pollinators, while we were at the Indianapolis Zoo this past week.
Oh, that's
And
right.
yes, it was kind of a stretch for them to be talking about this because we were watching these swimming monkeys that didn't swim. But they were talking about how important it is to plant.
They even try to drop food in the water for them, and they would not go in the water. And it was hot.
These monkeys are like they're supposed to be swimmers. It was kind of a letdown. But whatever. I digress. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Pollinators? Let our people know where else they could go to celebrate Pollinator Week. Put on a bee costume, guys. Send us your pictures of you in a bee costume.
She's laughing, but Mitchell's going to add a photo of her right now in a bee costume.
So, there we go.
Crap.
So
I'm in the yearbook. The kids' yearbook.
Yeah.
2 years running in my bee costume.
You're crazy.
all right.
Okay. So next up is Jarrod. What are some things going on in Park and Recreation, either, whether it's people or research, that would be interesting for these guys that are watching to know about?
Yeah, well, first of all, one of the things that when I used to send out a newsletter that was really important for me was to talk about the individuals. Everybody's interested on who's moving where, who's doing what. But I was really struck this last week when I found out that the public relations manager for the Fox Valley Park District had passed away. I only had a couple of interactions with him. I was only fortunate enough to talk with him a couple of times. He spoke at conference as part of the Unplug Illinois presentation for IPRA at IPRA State Conference. And he had sent an email that was just really glowing about getting kids outside and the importance of getting them off of screens and enjoying nature.
What was his name?
Jeff Long was his name.
Long?
Yeah. And he had a long and heroic fight against cancer, and he lost the battle, but hopefully he'll have the victory in the end. But what I wanted to say about him, what I noticed in the few interactions with him, is I feel like a lot of people, a lot of practitioners work in parks and recreation, but he was somebody that really truly lived it. And if all of us could follow his example and be like him, I think the world would be a better place, and he made the world a better place, I think, just from the little bit I saw of him.
Yeah, Jarrod was sharing some of the stories that he knew, and he said that he had planned a bike ride for a trip.
His family was going to Canada, I think, for some reason. I read in the newspaper, like a family reunion or something, and he decided he was going to bike. So he took 10 days and hit cheap hotels and biked the entire way to get there just for fun. So kind of neat.
Cool legacy.
Yeah. But as far as research goes, and something that might be interesting for you all to hear about, is Pew Foundation, PEW, one of the leading research organizations.
I'm sitting.
Yeah, like a church pew. Organizations in the country. They did research recently, or have been for a long time, on rural populations. And I found it really interesting that for the first time in 10 years, it's slightly increased.
That's as long as we've been living in CU.
That's right. But we live in an urban center.
We do, but it looks like a country. Don't you guys think we look like we're in a rural setting?
It does feel rural right now. Treehouses have that effect.
They do. Okay, sorry.
But
anyway, what's been going on in the rural stuff?
That's part of the reason why it's so important, or that it's been growing, is because of things like treehouses, outdoor recreation. They've found that the slight increase in population in rural communities is because people are seeking out an outdoor rec experience that's close to home. So they're moving to places where they can mountain bike and rock climb and hike and do all that stuff and fish like right after work. And they can't get that experience necessarily in an urban setting. And they also said social media and quality photography is also driving the movement to beautiful
because people
places.
Are seeing it.
Because people are seeing it more on Instagram. They're seeing beautiful imagery.
Oh, that's happened to me.
And dreaming and saying, I want to live there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Usually I say I want a trip or go on vacation there, but that is one step
further. I saw some nice pictures in Backpacker magazine about the highest peak east of the Mississippi.
Where's that?
Mount Mitchell. No, really. And
North Carolina, right?
I saw it near Asheville, North Carolina, and about the next summer, 2 summers after, my whole family had gone out there and we did a little summit run on it and really enjoyed it.
How fun is that?
So yeah, it's like seeing something, understanding its worth value to the locals, and it's an interesting place to be, and then recreating there later. So
Can make a difference.
I see that.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good, Mount Mitchell.
Tying everything together. Mount Mitchell, bee costume.
You are, like...
That's what an intern's all about, folks.
Pulls it together.
I guess.
Well, it's all.
Yeah, that's all we have for today. I hope that you've enjoyed number 8. And leave your comments below.
Start your pollinators.
And let us know if there's any other trends or information that you want to hear Mr. Scheunemann here talk about.
Thank you. Peace out from the treehouse.